Dear J. Cole, really enjoy your new album. I thought it was dope, fam. And I was wondering if you was trying to collab. Here's a link to one of my tracks. It's not finished yet, but give it a listen and hit me back if you tryna collab. Send. And now we play the waiting game. Ugh. What's going on, you guys? My name is Cole Zarek. I make music, and welcome to the video. Welcome to my channel. First off, I just want to say thank you because we just hit 400 subscribers. If you have subscribed, I just want to say thank you. That's kind of a milestone for me. Also, before we get started, I want to mention that I just released a new song on iTunes and Spotify and Google. It's called Yoda. Anyways, if you get a chance, head on over to whatever streaming site you use. Give it a listen. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about how you can effectively get more features as an artist. Okay, so the first thing I have to ask you guys is, why do you want this feature? Is it so that the artist that you have in mind, is that artist going to enhance the song that you're creating? Is it more of like, do you want to have that artist's name a part of the song to kind of boost its popularity, to give it more notoriety? Which I think are both valid answers, but you have to, I think the biggest thing it comes down to is you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be honest with the person you're reaching out to. That's my first tip. You should ask yourself, why do you want this feature? Identify what you really want. Be honest with yourself, because you're gonna lie to yourself and be like, I really want to work creatively with this artist, this super popular artist who has like a freaking so many fans. I just want to work creatively with them, which is fine. You can necessarily have both, but you just need to be honest with yourself and the artist you're reaching out to. Tip number 2 is identify to what capacity you want them involved with the song. I've worked with a ton of artists such as KAG, Tommy Sketch, Rude Boy, Matt Lee, I'm not reading off a list, Kayla Starks, J. Rule, Alex Mills, Ignite, Sam Denton, which a lot of those artists we communicated through the internet, and they sent me something that they worked on. And a few of them, like Mission or Sam Denton or Alex Mills, I actually got to sit down and talk with them and actually create, either write or work on a song with them right next to each other, which is actually a really intimate experience, but you learn a lot from it. And sometimes, like, it's really exciting when you have someone there as enthusiastic as you are. It's a completely different experience besides reaching out to somebody online. So that's the second tip, is you need to identify to what capacity they can be a part of the song. Are they going to sit right next to you and work with you and write and produce the song? Or are they going to communicate, are you going to communicate with them over, because they're not local to where you are? You need to identify what is the most realistic and what's the most effective. Like, what do you want the song to be? Because there's a difference. If you want to reach out to somebody who's like a more popular artist, it's less likely that they're gonna be like, yeah, like, let's sit down and start from scratch. Tip number 3, and I think it goes it's kind of not addressed enough, is that artists tend to not want to work for free. Me and Sam Denton sat down and we worked on an album together, start to finish. We saw that through. So we both had a collaborative effort and the same goal that we were achieving. So we weren't like paying each other for each other's services. We were coming together to create something. On the other hand, a collaboration like I did with Dre Murray, that cost money, and that took time emailing back and forth. That cost actual money, and you have to like ask yourself, what artists are you going to seek out and reach out to? Is that someone who you both know you kind of want to work towards a collaborative effort. Like that's what me and Mission did. We sat down and we were like, yeah, like let's do this. And we kind of had this sense of like, let's just make like an awesome song. It'll be dope to have both of our names on it, both of us as creators. And so we didn't talk about money because we just kind of thought it would both benefit us mutually. To whereas I'm reaching out to an artist like Dre Murray, we're gonna talk about the rates that he has for a feature. That's tip number 3. Just talk about money. Just don't make it weird. Just be completely blunt, completely upfront, and understand that they're another person spending time on a project that can be time spent like with their family or friends or working and actually making money. So that's tip number 3. So tip number 4 is something I think a lot of people suffer from, and it has to do with how you network with somebody. Even the concept of being conscious that you're networking with an artist and you're seeking them out as like an asset to your own career is something that I seriously struggled with my the first couple years I was doing music. Is I would go to shows and I would meet people and I would just be kind of over the top with like, I just didn't feel like I was being my genuine self because I was working under these motives that like, oh, like I'm gonna be able to like work with these people like if I befriend them. And it totally got in the way of just how I functioned, and it really sucked. And I encourage you guys to kind of ask yourselves that, is like, am I perceiving people as just people, as just meeting people and gaining friends seamlessly? Or am I seeking them out as if they're assets to like my own agenda? A lot of times you'll have somebody come up to an artist after a show. If it's like a smaller artist, to where you don't have to buy like VIP passes, people will come up to them and hand them a CD, which is totally fine. It's totally cool to like sharing music, but then they'll come up with like the arm around the shoulder and be like, yo, check it out. Like these tracks on here, they're fire. Listen, fam, you trying to collab? And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the artist and it's embarrassing for everyone who's like witnessing it. Just ask yourselves these questions, because you don't want to end up being that guy with the arm around the shoulder of the headlining artist being like, hey, you trying to collab? Because that's just embarrassing, and that's not how you're going to like work with people on something so intimate as like creating a song. That's my opinion. Tip number 5. Tip number 5 is to have realistic expectations of what you want to accomplish. When you're ready to make contact with like the artist that you want to reach out to and want to create a song with or be on a song, you need to set the record straight. You need to tell them what you want exactly. You want a verse, or you want to sit down with them, or you want to meet with them to talk about a future track. And you have to understand, especially considering the level that they're on, is it's going to take a lot of time. It might take some money, but especially it's going to take a lot of time. The most popular feature that I have on my SoundCloud or my channel is the song I did with Dre Murray. It took forever just writing and recording and producing that song. But it took emailing him back and forth about it took 9 months. At least 9 months. And it kind of set the stage for how I go about reaching out to artists about songs, because I had all these expectations. Like we would create a song and we would release it, and then he'd like post on his Twitter or whatever, like to his fans, like, hey, check it out, I did this song with this guy, and it would give it like a huge boost. You need to be realistic about how long it's going to take you. If you want somebody to be on a song right now, it's best to get in touch with them about it sooner rather than later. Also give people deadlines. Deadlines are great if you want them to stay like it's not going to hinder their creative process. At least I don't think. If you give me a month to do something, I'm gonna take a month. But if you give me 2 weeks to do something, I'm gonna take 2 weeks. If you give me a wide open, amount of time, like, hey, get to it whenever, I'm gonna get to it whenever like it's convenient. It's never gonna be convenient. I make some of the best art when I'm on a time constraint. Even when I make really good art and I'm not on a time constraint, I take all the time I could possibly need on it. Also, when it comes to expectations, do your research. Like, cause some artists like I've worked with, like Tommy Sketch, has his own recording setup. Same as me, I have my own recording setup. So if somebody were to get into contact with me, I'd be more likely to like have the means to create it on my own. I won't have to rely on like a recording studio. So those are my 5 tips on how to get a feature. Tell me what you think about this video. Did it help you? Did you learn something? Did you kind of learn something the hard way? And then watch this video and confirm that like, I was that guy who had the arm around the artist. Were you the guy? Be honest. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next tutorial video.